Since the very beginning of my basketball career, I have loved shooting. I have always been mesmerized by the precision of the greatest shooters of all time and the artistry on display every time they pick up a basketball. This love for the game has ultimately led me to taking a deep dive on the art of shooting a basketball. And from this research, I scored 64 three-pointers in my junior year of high school basketball, which is the second most in my school's history, falling one short of the record. In this video, I will share with you all the data I collected, the shared principles from the greatest sharpshooters of all time, and valuable sources that may help you in your own shooting journey. In this video, we will be looking at 4 of the most prolific shooters of all time, each of them with varying shooting forms. Stephen Curry breaks a lot of the fundamentals of shooting when you look at his jump shot. First of all, his elbow is not at a 90-degree angle. I remember being taught when I was younger the shooting fundamentals. Oh no, you gotta have the L shape when you shoot. It's gotta be an L, 90 degrees. His shot is not 90 degrees. Also, before he releases the ball, there is no gap between the palm of his hand and the ball. Another thing to look at with Stephen Curry's jump shot is that the ball is always released off of his index finger or his middle finger. Most times it's his middle finger. And his body is straight when he shoots. He doesn't have a bent back, he's not hunched over, his body is straight the whole way. His offhand thumb is facing the basket, which is a groundbreaking discovery. Stephen Curry has a thumb flick on his jump shot. This goes against the grain of all the fundamentals. Oh, you should never have a thumb flick on your jump shot, that'll mess up your shot, blah, blah, blah. But Stephen Curry himself has a thumb flick. And there are notable other shooters in the NBA that have that thumb flick, but for whatever reason in the fundamentals, that is strictly prohibited. Another thing you will notice about Stephen Curry's jump shot, he doesn't jump as high as he can. He doesn't try to jump over the defenders to get the shot up. His jump is not high. He focuses on having a quick release to get his shot up. The next shooter on this list is none other than the late great Ray Allen. The first thing that I noticed with Ray Allen's jump shot is that his elbow is at a 45-degree angle when he shoots, his shooting elbow, which once again goes against the grain of having that 90-degree angle. And similar to Stephen Curry, there is no gap between his palm and the ball, once again disproving that myth that shooting coaches preach to their players. Something that I found interesting about Ray Allen's jump shot is that his guide hand isn't on the side of the ball completely, it's more so on the top of the ball, which is very fascinating. I never liked that. Like, whenever I shoot the basketball, it's most comfortable for me to have the hand on the side, not the top, but his is closer to the top than the side. And his guide arm is extremely bent. And the ball in his release point is straight above his head. You see with some shooters, the ball is not right above their head, it's not in the middle, but his is maybe a picture-perfect jump shot in that sense, that the ball is perfectly in the middle of his body. Now this is something that should be common knowledge, but I wanted to speak on it anyway. Ray Allen's feet aren't always squared to the basket when he shoots. Ray Allen is such a great shooter that his feet do not have to be squared to the basket for him to make the shot. If his shoulders are squared, that's all that matters. And sharing a similarity with Stephen Curry, he releases his shot off of his middle and index fingers as well. Now Ray Allen goes back to the fundamentals here, he does not have a thumb flick on his jump shot. The next player on this list is usually given the title of having the most fundamental jump shot in basketball. And that player is Klay Thompson.
Because like everybody shoots differently, like all the greatest shooters in the league, we all have different releases and different forms, but Klay's is the one that if you just took a snapshot, it's just right here. It's just extreme, it's pretty. I call it the prettiest jump shot I've ever seen.
Now forgetting his past performances, let's talk about his jump shot form. It's beautiful. Let's just be honest, it looks smooth. And when you look at his arm, the shooting arm is almost at a 90-degree angle exactly, which differs from Ray Allen at the 45-degree angle and Stephen Curry alike. And his body is straight like an arrow. I mean, his whole body is aligned with his arms and his jump shot form. And the ball is on his palm. Once again, there is no gap between the palm and the ball.
That's where you want the ball, and you want to be able to see air through there, because you don't want to shoot like this.
So that was a lie.
Now something else fascinating about his jump shot is that, similar to Ray Allen, his guide hand is close to the top of the ball. Klay Thompson also does not have a thumb flick on his jump shot. When Klay Thompson shoots, his feet are staggered. They are not 10 toes to the basket fully squared. You do not have to be 10 toes like some shooting coaches will tell you. And similar to Stephen Curry and Ray Allen, the ball always comes off his middle and index fingers. With Klay Thompson's jump shot, he makes sure to always square his shoulders to the basket. That gives him the perfect accuracy every single time. Kevin Durant. The reason why I put him as the last person on this list is because his jump shot is weird. Let me just be honest, his jump shot is weird, man. Let's start off with his set, okay? You'll notice that his knees buckle on themselves. They buckle. His knees are touching when he shoots the ball. And the ball starts on the left side of his body. And his shoulders are not squared to the basket. When he gets the ball above his head, his guide arm is bent, and his guide hand is on the low side of the ball. And once again, for the fourth time, there is no gap between the palm and the ball. And similar to Ray Allen, the ball is straight above his head. I find that interesting that the ball is straight above his head because the starting point of the ball was on his left side, which means he went diagonally up into his shot. Kevin Durant does not have a thumb flick on his jump shot, and actually, his guide arm does not follow the ball all the way up. And interestingly, the ball comes off of his thumb, index, and middle finger. So now let's talk about the common principles of the jump shot from this data. First of all, from most of the greatest shooters, not including Kevin Durant because he's just a hybrid, he's weird, the ball comes off the middle and index finger. Number 2, the greatest shooters of all time have their body straight when they shoot. They don't hunch over, they don't bend to the side, their body is straight up and down. Number 3, the greatest shooters of all time usually don't jump as high as they can when they shoot. Number 4, the guide arm has a slight bend at the elbow, and the guide hand is at the top to the middle of the ball. Number 5, this myth was disproven with every single shooter that we went over today. You do not have to have a gap between the palm of your hand and the basketball. If anything, putting the ball in the palm of your hands gives you more control over the basketball, which is why you should do that instead. Number 6, you should square your shoulders to the basket when you shoot, but you don't have to have your feet squared. And I believe this disproves the myth that coaches tell you that, oh, you gotta have 10 toes to the rim. That's nonsense. Number 7, a thumb flick is optional. It's not completely outlawed. You can have a thumb flick on your jump shot and get away with it. Here's my message to all the basketball players out there. Stop changing your jump shot so much. If your jump shot is comfortable, if your jump shot is not crazy, if it has at least some of the fundamentals, it's comfortable for you and it's fast, stick with it. Rock with it. Stop changing to another one and master the one that you're currently using. Alright man, if you're interested, I linked the Google spreadsheet down in the description below along with the best shooting videos I could find on YouTube right now. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, keep God first. Good luck, bro. I'll see you, man.